All right, guys. So we are now continuing on in science. So we just spent a few weeks in history going over government, but now we're moving back into science and we're actually going to be finishing up with our Unit 2 book. We're going to be finishing up in Unit 2. So again, if you guys need a refresher for Unit 2, it's going to be this book here. I think that's Unit 3. It's this one. So if you have this book, guys, get it out. This is the book that we're going to be finishing up in. We worked on half of it. We're going to work on the next half now. Okay. If you don't have your book, you're going to be going into Connect Ed. Don't forget to change the from your old school to OISP. And then if you're doing it online, I'm going to show you guys where online. If you're doing it in your book, we're starting on page 66. So our unit is properties of matter. Our module is changes to materials. And today we're going to be working on lesson 1, build with materials. We're on page 66, 67, 74, 75, and 76 today. So let's go ahead and go to page 66 today. It's going to be the one with the basketball. If you guys are using it online, you're going to go to your dashboard. Click on that greater than sign, find the module changes to materials, build with materials. You're going to scroll to explain. And then find the picture with the basketball. Put pieces together. Many objects we use are made up of different pieces. Some are made up of different materials. Your desk may have wood on the top. It may have metal legs. It may also have rubber on the bottom of the legs. Someone had to assemble or put them together, or had to put together all of the pieces of the desk. Look at the basketball hoop. Tap on the image to circle the pieces that were attempted to make it. And then if you're in your book, it'll say, look at the basketball hoop, circle the pieces that were assembled to make it. So what were some of the things that were assembled? The hoop, the rim, the net, the backboard, this like metal part that connects the hoop and the backboard. And then this long metal rod that helps lift it up high so that you can shoot the basketball into the basket. All right, now let's look at page 67. Let's keep ourselves muted, guys. So you'll exit out if you're online and then click on the next picture. Take objects apart. Objects that are made of pieces can also be taken apart. A model house made of wooden blocks can be disassembled or taken apart. You can then use the same wooden blocks to build something else. A toy car can be disassembled. When it is taken apart, you are left with different car parts. So think about, like, if you guys have ever watched the Marvel movies with the Avengers, one of the things that they say is Avengers assemble. So what that means is they come together. They come together and they make up the team, the Avengers. The Avengers is all the different superheroes coming together and fighting and, you know, helping the world stay safe. Now, if you were to disassemble the Avengers, if you were to take a part of them, then there are different parts, there are different superheroes, and they each have like their own movies and they have their own lives. They have their own stories. So like some of their Avengers are like Iron Man, Black Widow, the Hulk, Thor, Spider-Man. So all of those people, when you disassemble them, they make up different superheroes with different movies. But if you put them all together in one movie and they all come together and they help each other out, then they're called the Avengers. So that's why we assemble them. When they're assembled, they all work as one piece together. And when they're disassembled, then they represent different parts, just like in this car. When the car pieces are assembled, they make a car. But when they're disassembled, it's, there's the bumper, there's the wheels, there's the motor, there's the car seats. Those are the different parts. All right. Watch the video Making Objects to see more examples of assembling and disassembling objects.
Assembling and disassembling objects is something we all do. This puzzle is assembled to create a
cool image. And then the puzzle is disassembled so it can go back in the box. Here are some small, different objects. Can you tell what object they would make if we assembled them? That's right, a flashlight. What objects have you assembled and disassembled? Have you ever used blocks to create something? Then you have assembled an object. Have you ever taken apart blocks? Then you have disassembled
Sorry, guys.
an object. Sometimes the same smaller pieces can be used to make a different object. Watch this.
So let's let the video load for a second. So earlier, she used all of these pieces to make like a rocket. So he has the same pieces, but he's going to try and assemble, make something different.
Same blocks, but a different object. What else could we assemble and disassemble? Look at all the objects we assembled and disassembled.
All right. So how are the toy car parts different from the cubes you assembled? Now, obviously, the cubes are from not something that we did. So if you were actually, and you know what, maybe I can show you guys that video. So technically, when we do the explore, there is this video that we're supposed to be, I'm sorry, not a video. There is a project that you guys are supposed to be doing. But since we're not in class, we don't have the ability to do them. But what I'll do for this week is I'll show you guys what that assignment would have been so that we could better answer this question, okay?
In this lesson, you're exploring materials and making observations to understand that materials can be taken apart and put back together in many different ways. Let's look back at the video we saw earlier in this lesson. Look carefully at the mosaic art. What do you notice? What do you wonder about the pieces that make a mosaic? In this activity, we'll be building and comparing different objects we make out of cubes. To build objects, you will use 12 cubes and crayons. Before we start building, make a prediction. How will two objects made of 12 cubes be alike and different? Share your prediction with your small group, then select Continue. First, you will want to collect 12 cubes. Once you have your cubes, build an object. Use all 12 of your cubes. Once you've finished building, draw a picture of the object that you made. When you're done, select Continue. After you have drawn a picture of your first object, take it apart and separate all 12 of your cubes.
So
Make a
disassemble.
new object with the 12 cubes.
Now we're going to assemble them again, but make something different.
Once you're finished building, draw a picture of your second object. Select Continue when you're finished drawing. Next, use your drawings to complete the Communicate Information section.
So that's like one of the activities we would have done if we were in class. So how are the toy car parts different from the cubes that you assembled? So let's go back here. And let's see what one of our possible answers could be. So the toy car parts fit together in one way to make a car. For example, if you were to try and put the wheels on top of the car or the seats on top of the hood or the headlights inside of the car, then you would not have a very safe car, and that would not be a drivable car that you could use on the streets. Whereas the cubes that we assembled, if you had put them in a different way, then that would be fine. The toy car parts, there are specific places where you place each of the parts, whereas the cubes, you were able to assemble them in any way that you wanted. All right. So it looks like the next thing we have is page 74, 75, and 76, which is going to be our evaluate. So if you want to learn about the architect, you are able to do that. And here we have page 74, and we're on the evaluate now. So I'm going to exit out of this if you guys are following along online. Then I'm going to click the lesson review, and I'm going to open that up. And it's the same as in your book. Okay. How could these same tiles be used to make a different design? Explain how tiles in a mosaic could be reused to make a new piece of art. So let's see. You could arrange the tiles differently to make many designs. An object made of pieces can be taken apart and put together in many ways. So the question was, explain how tiles in a mosaic could be reused to make a new piece of art. Because there's all these little different pieces and parts, and even though these ones are used to make what it looks like an ocean with water and the fish, you can actually change and move these pieces around, and you can make a different art piece out of it. So what I'll do for you guys right now is I am going to put this in the chat for you guys. For those of you guys asking, we're on page 74. Page 74. So you could arrange the tiles differently to make many designs. An object made of pieces can be taken apart and put together in many ways. All right, guys. The next thing we're going to do, I'm going to move on. So it's in the chat. And then if you're watching this on YouTube later, you can pause the video. Okay. I'm going to now move on to our three-dimensional thinking. Okay. Beth wants to make another object out of these blocks. What should she do first? So you guys are going to give me your answer choices. Okay. Do you guys think A, she should assemble the blocks? B, disassemble the blocks? C, take away some blocks? Or D, add more blocks? So let's read it again. Beth wants to make another object out of these blocks. What should she do first? So it looks like she's made it looks like a little duck or something. Now she wants to make something else. What should she do first? I see a lot of B's. She should disassemble the blocks. Let's see. Gonna click B. Check answer. Correct. The correct answer is B. She should disassemble the blocks because she's already assembled them. She needs to take them apart now so that she can make something new because they are already assembled. Okay. Now Beth wants to make another animal that is longer than the duck. Oh, so it is a duck. How can she do that without adding more blocks? So one of the ways that she can make a longer objects is she can disassemble the duck and place the blocks side by side, and she can make a long snake. That's how she can make something longer. So I'll write that in the chat. We are on page 75. Page 75. This is question number 2. She can disassemble the duck and place the blocks side by side to make a long snake. All right, guys. And I believe the last page, if you still need more time, you can pause it. Think about the materials you do not use anymore. How could you assemble them to make something new? Design an object made out of things you would normally throw away. List the materials you will use. So you can do this, and this can actually be your social and emotional learning activity for this week. Find some things around the house that you either don't use anymore or that you were planning to throw away. So for example, like right now in front of me, I've got this Bob Ross doll that's missing an arm. I've got a tennis ball, and I've got a piece of paper. Okay. So that I was going to throw away. So if I have these 3 things, what can I do with these 3 things, and what can I create? So you're going to write those things down. So whatever things you want. And let's say that you're like, well, Miss Park, I know what I'm going to do with some of them, but I can't use all of them. Then you don't have to use all of them. Just list whatever materials you want to use. And then you're going to draw a picture of a way that you can create all of those things together. So like for me, I might use, I don't know, maybe I'll use the paper to make some type of basket, and I'll have Bob Ross carrying the basket with the tennis ball inside of it. And I made like a new toy. Okay. So you guys can create something, and it's just something fun. And then you can tell me all about it. You can make a video of yourself explaining what you drew, and then send it to me on Class Dojo. All right, guys, I believe that is all for today. So what you guys are going to do is you're going to finish up the explain and evaluate if you haven't done so. Then don't forget to work on your art, health, or social and emotional learning activity. And then don't forget to read 20 minutes today, okay? All of you should have done 10 minutes of read theory. I checked at 12 o'clock, and some of you were not working on read theory. Read theory is very important, and it's going to help you guys with your comprehension and your reading skills. So make sure you guys are doing at least 10 minutes of read theory every day.